Does your dog keep licking their paws over and over, and you're not sure whether it's just a harmless habit or a sign that something's wrong? Here's the key. Sometimes it's nothing serious, but other times it's the clearest sign that something's bothering your dog. A little licking can be totally normal. Maybe your dog is cleaning their fur, or there's a taste they find interesting. But when your dog keeps doing it, especially at the same time or so much that the area turns wet, red, or irritated, we're not just talking about hygiene anymore. At that point, something's driving it. To figure out why your dog's doing it, let's walk through the possible causes, starting with the first one, itchy paws. This is probably the most common reason. A lot of dogs don't lick their paws for no reason. They lick them because they're itchy. And when we talk about itching, we're not just talking about spring allergies. According to the Merck Veterinary Manual, the most common causes of itching in dogs fall into three main groups: parasites, infections, and allergies. And among those allergies, one condition stands out: atopic dermatitis. According to a review published in BMC Veterinary Research, one of the most typical signs of this condition is itching, and that itching can show up as scratching, nibbling, or repeated licking, especially in areas like the paws. In other words, a lot of the time, your dog isn't licking because of some odd habit, but because they're uncomfortable and trying to get some relief. The problem is that this can turn into a vicious cycle fast. It itches, your dog licks, the skin gets even more irritated, and that makes it itch even more. That's why, along with the licking, you may notice the area looks redder, wetter, or even a little darker from the saliva. Sometimes the problem isn't general itching in the paws, but something more localized. And that brings us to the next cause: pain or something stuck in the paw. Painful injuries between the toes can make your dog lick and nibble at that exact spot. And one of the most common reasons is something stuck there, like a foxtail, a small splinter, or another object trapped between the toes. Also, sometimes dogs develop what veterinarians call interdigital furuncles. Put simply, these are lumps or deep infections that form between the toes. When that happens, the area can be painful. Your dog may start limping, and they'll usually focus all their licking on that exact spot, trying to ease the pain. And it fits a scene a lot of owners have seen before without thinking much of it. Your dog comes back from a walk, lies down, and starts licking one paw over and over. Not all of them, just one. When that happens, it stops looking like a simple habit. It looks more like your dog is trying to soothe something that hurts or irritates right there. And those are the moments when you need to check the paw carefully. But here's the tricky part. Sometimes the licking starts because of itching or pain and ends up turning into a whole new problem. Bacterial and yeast infections are also common causes of itching, and dogs with them often lick their feet and face excessively. In other words, it may start with an allergy or a small irritation, and then a secondary infection can develop that makes everything worse. That's why you may notice pink or brown skin, a bad smell, constant moisture, or even a bald patch, and think it just showed up out of nowhere. But it didn't. A lot of the time, what you're seeing is the result of days or even weeks of repeated licking. What matters from this point on isn't just knowing why your dog is licking, but knowing what to do when you see it. Because if all you do is pull your dog away or say, "There they go again," you could miss the real cause. The first thing is to really watch how your dog is licking. Occasional licking isn't the same as persistent licking, and licking all four paws isn't the same as always focusing on just one. Then check the area carefully, between the toes, the paw pad, around the nails, and whether there are foxtails, wounds, redness, lumps, moisture, or a bad smell. Depending on what you find, here's what to do. If you can clearly see something stuck there, like a small foxtail or a splinter sticking out, stop your dog from licking and remove it only if you can do it gently without forcing it or hurting your dog. If you don't see anything stuck but the skin is red, wet, or irritated, gently clean the paw, dry it well, especially between the toes, and see if your dog goes right back to licking it after a while. If you notice swelling, a bad smell, discharge, a lump between the toes, or pain when you touch the area, stop messing with it and make a vet appointment. If your dog is limping or always focusing on the same paw, also check the paw pad and around the nails, because sometimes that's where the problem is. If your dog is licking several paws at once, scratching other parts of the body, or this keeps happening, it's time to start thinking about itching or allergies and bring it up with your vet. And if the licking lasts for several days, keeps getting worse, there's blood, or you can't distract your dog, then it's not the time to wait it out. It's time to have a professional take a look. Now that we've gone over what you need to know if your dog keeps licking their paws, I recommend the video on your screen. In that video, I explain why dogs sleep on their backs. Tap the image on screen to watch the video.